Hello friends, in this episode I'll show you how to replace the OEM head unit from older Volkswagen, Seat or Skoda models with a super fast, cheap and useful media unit that offers CarPlay, Android Auto and mirroring functions so you can enjoy your favorite navigation app, music or podcast, and even videos for those moments when you're stuck in traffic. And if that wasn't enough, you also have the possibility to use voice commands so you don't have to take your eyes off the road. Let me show you the product I'm talking about and how easy it is to install. In this box we have the mentioned product. Inside we have a screen with a Linux operating system that can be installed on car models from this list. It is of course best to send the seller a photo of your car's media unit because there can be some incompatibilities. Because REEIIO asked me to test this product, I also managed to negotiate a special discount code for my viewers, so after you add the screen to the cart at checkout, just use the 25% discount code REEIIODY and you can buy the screen for just $104, which is the best price on the market right now. This code also works for the other radio models as well. Let's see what we have inside. We of course have a wiring diagram. Don't be scared, everything is plug and play and I will show you all the steps right away. Then we have a user manual in English where the functions and how to use them are explained in detail. I won't show you the entire manual because I don't want this video to be too long. And here is the screen. What I noticed immediately was the OEM look of it. It looks exactly like the media units from the R and S series present on many cars from the Volkswagen Audi group. This is the back side. The circuit boards are protected by a casing that appears to be aluminium, giving the feel of a quality product. Here we also have all the ports for the connectors from the wiring harness. Each connector goes into only one port, so it is impossible to make a mistake during installation. And here we of course have the wiring harness. This is the main wiring harness. On the right you can see the connector called quad lock, and on the left we have two RCA connectors, aux left and aux right, a black connector that will power the screen, a white connector that will connect to the CAN bus decoder, and a small connector that will go into the screen. Here we also have two connectors in case we have a car with low configuration. On this Golf MK5 I ended up connecting the two ends because before being upgraded to an RNS unit it had just a basic radio and also it has no steering wheel controls. In your case it may not be necessary, you can simply test before putting the radio back to make sure everything works correctly. The rest of the wires are not necessary, having other functions that do not concern us. In the box you also have another wiring harness with a slightly different quad lock connector because it is possible that your OEM media unit has such a connector instead of the quad lock from the wiring harness shown earlier. The rest of the connectors are exactly the same. Then we have this small box which is a CAN bus decoder. This decoder basically allows the radio unit to receive information from the car or to keep the steering wheel controls working. To have radio signal we will use this adapter called FACRA to DIN. Here we have a wiring harness with multiple RCA cables, but we will only use the two ports labeled aux in left and aux in right, which go into aux out left and aux out right. And of course the white connector connects to the radio. Then we have two USB ports for wired CarPlay or updates. I never installed them because I don't like cables hanging under the dashboard and I will not use wired CarPlay as long as I have wireless. This is the RCA connector for video if we want to install a reverse camera. It's a great opportunity to equip the car with something like this very easily. And we also have the Wi-Fi antenna which has an adhesive strip, so we will stick it inside the dashboard. The Wi-Fi signal is very good and the connection with the phone is very stable. The owner has had no problem so far with this. Let me show you where each connector goes, although as I said you cannot mix anything up, each connector goes into only one slot. The RCA aux in and out connectors are already connected for sound, so I won't touch them. What I want to show you is that for the reverse camera you need to insert the trigger wire here where the brown wire goes, or connect it to it. It's pretty much the same thing. And we start with this connector, which obviously goes into the black port. Then we will connect the CAN bus decoder into the only white connector that fits. This connector has 8 pins, so I just need to check where the 8-pin port is. It is right here. The connector from the wiring harness with the RCA ports goes here on the top row. Then we have the ports for USB, which you don't necessarily have to install, but I will show you where they go as well. The connector for the reverse camera goes here. The DIN connector of the radio antenna adapter goes here. The opposite end with the FACRA connector connects to the matching one in the car. Now we only have the Wi-Fi antenna left and we are done. This is how everything looks. Now we go to the car. We remove the air vent grill with a plastic trim removal tool. On the bottom side we have this connector. Press this clip and pull the connector out. On the side towards the windshield we have a T20 screw that secures this plastic tray. Then lift the plastic tray from the back side and push it toward the windshield because it has 2 plastic clips here. Take out the wire with the connector and put the tray aside. Here we have 2 more T20 screws. I am now going to insert the trim removal tool between the center air vents and the radio unit and pry out the vents. There are 2 T20 screws holding the radio's frame. Now we gently pull out this plastic frame. Just take your time with all the trims. These are old cars, so the trims and plastic clips are quite brittle. We just have 4 more T20 screws holding the radio. I can now take out the radio unit and disconnect the cables in the back. For the quad lock, we press the retaining tab at the bottom and lift the lever so the connector comes out. This connector has a tab on the side that needs to be pressed and then we pull out the connector. And here we just have to pull out this transparent clip, then we press it and pull the connector out. We put the old unit aside and start installing the new screen. I will start with the Wi-Fi antenna, which I will stick right here. I will not use the USB ports and I will not install a reverse camera, so I tie the cables together so they don't confuse you. For the radio, I will connect these 2 FACRA connectors. For the quad lock connectors, you will need to lift the lever on the back, otherwise they will not connect. Insert the matching connector and lower the lever. Because this Golf MK5 came from factory with a basic radio and only later it was upgraded to an RNS head unit, it does not have CAN bus communication and the screen simply had no signal. So I removed the decoder and everything worked perfectly afterwards. I will not install the aftermarket head unit back before doing a quick test for video and audio, so I will turn the ignition on so the media unit starts. All recordings are in real time, so you can see exactly the boot time, but also how fast CarPlay and Android Auto work. And we have 8 seconds boot time and 10 seconds to connect to CarPlay. In the radio app, you of course have automatic or manual search for radio stations. The radio tuner I think is just as strong as the original one because I found the same number of radio stations. I reinstalled everything back in place. Let's explore some more functions of this radio unit. Scrolling through the menu is very fast without lag. I really like that I can also change the wallpaper and the interface is a serious one without card drawings or ugly icons like other screens or Android units have. You can of course adjust the screen brightness so it doesn't bother you at night. For audio, you also have an equalizer like the head units on your cars. There are also some preset settings for different music genres. There are many other settings available, but I will let you explore them and move on to the main functions of this unit. To activate both CarPlay and Android Auto, you just need to turn on Bluetooth on your phone and connect to the Bluetooth called car followed by several random numbers. Then follow the pairing steps on your phone. After that, these steps are no longer necessary. As you saw earlier, if you have Bluetooth activated on your phone, you just turn the ignition on, and before you leave your driveway, you already have access to CarPlay. Scrolling through the CarPlay menu is very fast without any lag. I have to admit that for such a budget media unit, I did not expect everything to work this well. Let's enter a few random routes in Waze to see how fast the route is calculated. It must be mentioned here that it is important for the phone to be fast as well, because basically CarPlay and Android Auto are nothing more than functions that mirror only non-video apps from the phone, so the driver is not distracted while driving.
Let's take National Road 3, Freeway A2 and Dock Road Unary Bucharest. Turn right on Street Navidari. Then turn left on Street Nufaralui.
Let's test the music app as well, because this is also an important reason for this upgrade. We all want to get rid of burning CDs or being forced to listen to the same radio playlists, and these older car models don't even have Bluetooth audio. In order not to receive copyright claims, I will not be able to play audio for all content, but only for no copyright music. I also tested the voice functions, and voice assistants Siri and Google work okay. You can also place or accept calls using voice commands. Hey Siri, play no copyright music on YouTube Music.
Here's no copyright on YouTube Music.
Hey Siri, drive to Berlin.
Getting driving directions to Berlin using Waze.
All set, let's go. Turn right on Street Navidari. Then turn left on Street Nufaralui.
Hey Siri, play The Offspring on YouTube Music.
The Offspring now playing on YouTube Music?
To be able to do mirroring through AirPlay, you first need to go and activate the function in Settings, Smartphone, Smartphone List, and activate AirPlay. Activating AirPlay or mirror link functions will automatically disable CarPlay and Android Auto because they use the same Wi-Fi network of the screen and cannot run simultaneously. Then we connect to the Wi-Fi network of the screen and enter the password, which is made of 4 6s and 4 8s. After that, activate AirPlay to start screen mirroring. Pulled that plastic ring into the new cylinder opening and applied a little grease. Next, we remove the two metal brackets from the to use mirroring from Android. For Android Auto, the steps are identical and everything works just as well as in CarPlay. For those who have never used CarPlay or Android Auto, you should know that for some apps, a subscription is required, otherwise you will be bombarded with ads or you will be forced to unlock the phone to play songs. The touchscreen is very responsive and reacts quickly to commands. Because the Android operating system does not have built-in mirroring like iPhone, which uses AirPlay, you'll need to install the AutoLink Pro app and connect through Wi-Fi to the same network. On AutoLink, however, the image seems a bit laggy compared to AirPlay. I don't really care because I don't use video content while driving, as it is extremely dangerous, and I recommend you do the same. Tutorial out the media unit. For the quad lock connector, press this locking tab at the bottom and lift this lever to remove the connector. On some media unit, to the original media unit and lower the lever. I tried to find arguments against buying this screen, but honestly I think apart from slightly laggy image in AutoLink, I did not find other disadvantages for this unit. The sound is very good, voice commands are extremely useful, and let's not forget of course that everything is wireless. I think it is a great upgrade for an older car, which is certainly much more reliable than the ones produced now, and the price seems very good for what this product offers. That's about it for this tutorial and review. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe to reward all the hours of work put into making this episode. Until next time, I wish you safe travels and all the best. Bye bye.